Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In a vibrant future where interspecies living has become a norm, Earth has transformed into a melting pot of cultures and species. Sebastian, a young human in his mid-20s, navigates his life through bustling streets filled with various alien races and interstellar technology. The city is a strange blend of architectural styles, where towering spires from alien worlds stand proudly next to the historical buildings of human civilization. Neon lights twinkle in colors unknown on Earth, overlapping with holographic advertisements that showcase intergalactic travel and new technology. However, amid the innovation and excitement, Sebastian feels the weight of his mundane reality. Between rising costs of living and an endless cycle of student loans, he struggles to make ends meet. At night, after long hours at his menial job, he sprawls on his bed, scrolling through digital classifieds in search of a solution to his financial woes. Searching through endless listings, he stumbles upon an advertisement that sings to him. Seeking room in city center, individual from another world, no experience necessary. Just bring an open mind. Alongside the description is an image of a glowing alien woman named Canada, her luminescent skin softly shimmering. For a moment, he's captivated by her vibrant colors, each shade reflecting an emotion he can't quite decipher. Fascination mixes with trepidation as he contemplates the implications of sharing a living space with someone so vastly different from himself. It's a mixture of excitement and doubt, but the allure of an unconventional friendship is undeniably tempting. After a moment of hesitation, he types out a message. "Hi, I saw your ad. I'm interested in being roommates. What's your availability?" The hours tick away, and just as Sebastian's hope begins to wane, an alert pings on his phone. "Hi, Sebastian. I'm available and would love to talk more about the opportunity. Let's meet." A rush of excitement surges through him. A leap into the unknown awaits him, promising the potential for adventure, camaraderie, and perhaps even love. The day had finally arrived. Sebastian awoke with mixed feelings of excitement and nervousness pulsating through him. As he hurriedly tidied his apartment, he envisioned all the possible scenarios that could unfold with Canada's arrival. Would she be friendly? Would they even get along? Time seemed to crawl as he prepared, sweeping the floor, wiping down surfaces, and making sure there was no sign of his hectic, chaotic life in the clutter around him. He even spruced up the small kitchen, making a pot of coffee to welcome her. Despite his efforts, the anxiety bubbling in his stomach remained. When the doorbell rang, he nearly jumped out of his skin. With a shaky hand, he reached for the doorknob, trying to calm his breathing. He took a deep breath and opened the door, revealing Canada in all her otherworldly glory. Her skin shimmered like a nebula, an iridescent tapestry of colors that shifted gracefully, showcasing her emotions. Today, it glowed a gentle coral, hinting at her eagerness. "Greetings, Sebastian." Canada chimed, her voice melodious, wrapping around him like the sweetest sound he had ever heard. "Thank you for welcoming me into your home." Hi. I'm glad you made it," Sebastian stammered, desperately trying to portray a sense of calm. As she stepped inside, he could hardly contain his fascination. Canada's tall stature and delicate features were mesmerizing, and the combination of her alien attire, a flowing, multicolored fabric that danced with her every movement, captivated him entirely. "Your living space is very earthy," she remarked, glancing around with bright curiosity, noticing the mismatched furniture and posters of classic Earth films hanging on the wall. "Yeah, it's not much, but it's home," he replied, smiling nervously. "Would you like something to drink? I have coffee, tea, or soda." "Coffee." She tilted her head, her curiosity evident. "Is that safe for me?" Caught off guard, he chuckled. "It's perfectly fine. I can promise you that." Once the coffee was prepared, they both settled on the couch, taking in the comfortable silence that enveloped them. It was evident that they were both figuring out this new dynamic, cautious yet intrigued. "So, tell me about your home planet," he prompted, eager to learn more about the universe beyond Earth. It's called Lumira. We live in floating gardens composed of bioluminescent plants. The nights are absolutely breathtaking, the skies filled with vibrant colors and light. Kaneda shared, her skin radiating bursts of teal. We have many customs surrounding relationships and friendship, which I hope to share with you. Sebastian listened, entranced not only by her words, but by the way her skin glowed more brightly as she spoke of her home. He felt a growing thrill of excitement, peeking into a world so different from his own. And Earth, what is it like for you? She asked, returning the question with sincere interest. Oh, well, it's busy, he explained, stumbling through his thoughts. People are always rushing, consumed by work and plans. Sometimes it feels like we forget to enjoy the little things. With that, an unexpected awkwardness filled the space as they locked eyes, each feeling the tension thrumming beneath the surface. They quickly broke away, both blushing, but it was an unintentional spark, an electrifying connection that neither could ignore. Maybe we can help each other see the beauty in our worlds, Kaneda suggested, her voice light and hopeful. Sebastian felt warmth swell in his chest. I'd really like that, he replied, nodding earnestly. Things continued to flow gently as they began to share small stories about their lives, navigating through their differences. Sebastian recounted amusing childhood tales, while Kaneda's laughter filled the room, brightening the atmosphere. The ice began to melt away, and soon they found themselves sharing not only laughter but deeper, more vulnerable tales of aspirations, fears, and dreams. Just when Sebastian thought the moment could not get any better, he found himself enchanted by Kaneda's radiant presence. With every passing conversation, his excitement for the journey ahead intensified. However, even as laughter and understanding began to blossom, there lingered an unspoken sense of uncertainty between them. But for today, it seemed, they had taken the first step toward something new, and perhaps something wonderful. As days turned into weeks, the apartment transformed into a lively home filled with the vibrant colors of alien artifacts mixed with earthy comfort. The sounds of laughter echoed in the hallways as Sebastian and Kaneda continued to build their bond. Each morning began with a light-hearted exchange over caffeine, Sebastian introducing Kaneda to variations of coffee, while she reciprocated with exotic foods shaped by her culture. She took great pleasure in observing Sebastian's reactions, especially when tasting her home-cooked meals, which often prompted a chorus of exaggerated gasps and delighted comments. One evening, after a particularly enjoyable day packed with cooking experiments, they settled into a cozy corner of the couch, surrounded by soft alien cushions and glowing crystals that illuminated the room. Sebastian, Kaneda began, her shimmering lavender aura flickering as she hesitated. I would like to talk to you about something meaningful, something from my culture. Sebastian turned to her, curiosity piqued. What is it? I wish to share with you a special ritual called HFY. It symbolizes profound emotional connection between partners, she explained, her eyes sparkling with reverence. HFY, what does that involve? He asked, intrigued yet cautious. It's a beautiful experience where we reveal our vulnerabilities and trade gifts that symbolize what we hold dear. It's not just a physical act. It's about merging our souls and understanding the essence of each other. Kaneda elaborated, her skin glowing with vibrant pinks and soft gold. That sounds incredible, but also intimidating, Sebastian admitted, a lump forming in his throat. Are you sure you want to do this with me? Of course. I believe it would enhance our connection, she replied enthusiastically, her colors pulsing with warmth. They exchanged a meaningful glance, and Sebastian felt a pull in his heart, the anticipation overshadowing his fears. As they agreed on a date to conduct the ritual, Sebastian spent the days leading up to it diving deeper into his thoughts and feelings. He pondered over what he wanted to give Kaneda that represented him. He recalled moments and items from his life, a childhood toy, a letter from his late grandmother, and even the simplicity of his favorite book. Each object stirred memories, revealing his deepest longings and emotions. The day arrived, and the air in the apartment felt charged with energy. They decorated their living space with a fusion of their cultures, bioluminescent decorations from Kaneda paired with human candles that flickered with inviting warmth. It felt like a sacred space, personal and inviting. As dusk fell, they found themselves facing one another, the room aglow with candlelight and the shimmer of alien artifacts. Kaneda spoke first, her voice melodic and soothing. We begin by expressing our appreciation for each other. Sebastian took a deep breath, his heart racing. I've enjoyed every moment we've spent together, Kaneda. You've opened my eyes to a world I never imagined. Your laughter, your stories, they filled my life with joy. I appreciate how you've made me feel accepted. Her skin glowed brighter, the patterns shifting in response to his words. Your openness has helped me feel safe in this new place. You've taught me to see beauty where I didn't before. I appreciate your willingness to learn about my culture without judgment. As they exchanged their words of appreciation, the energy solidified. They transitioned towards the symbolic exchange of gifts. Sebastian presented his cherished childhood toy, a simple plush dinosaur. This represents my love for adventure and discovery. I always dreamed of exploring, much like I am now with you. Kaneda accepted the toy, her eyes widening in astonishment. It's wonderful. I shall treasure this. Next, Kaneda offered Sebastian a glowing crystal from Lumira, its light pulsing gently. This represents the connection between us, a token of my home and a piece of my heart. The air resonated with warmth as they leaned into each other, their foreheads touching. The world outside faded, and all that existed was the connection they were forging. They took turns sharing stories of their pasts, unburdening deep-seated fears and ambitions tied to their identities. With every shared word, they unraveled intricate parts of themselves while embracing the growing bond around them. As the ritual progressed, their emotions became intertwined with vulnerability, laughter, and tears rippling through the air. Sebastian felt an overwhelming rush of feelings, a unique blend of exhilaration and calm washing over him. It was a moment of magic, an understanding that transcended any mainstream limitations of love. When they eventually exchanged promises of mutual support and acceptance, Sebastian realized he had taken a step deeper into his own heart. The connection felt evolved, transcending friendships, now flourishing in its stark vibrancy. As they concluded the hujaka, the atmosphere hummed with the essence of unity, leaving a profound mark on their hearts. They sat in silence, allowing the world to settle around them, their friendship now transformed into something mesmerizing. In the days following the hujaka ritual, the initial euphoria lingered in the air, an electric buzz that connected Sebastian and Kaneda more profoundly than ever before. Their friendship blossomed into a beautiful dance of shared experiences and laughter, with both enjoying every moment of their unique companionship. However, while their bond flourished, the outside world began to intrude. Sebastian's friends and family, a circle steeped in traditional views, weren't shy about raising eyebrows at his increasingly close friendship with an alien. One evening, he invited a few friends over for a movie night, a casual gathering intended to bridge the gaps between worlds. The living room was filled with the soft hues of dimmed lights and an assortment of snacks on the table, classic Earth popcorn paired with colorful Lumaran treats that Kaneda had insisted they try. As the evening progressed, Sebastian introduced Kaneda to his friends, feeling a mixture of pride and trepidation. "Everyone, this is Kaneda. She's my roommate," he announced, hoping for an amicable reception. As the movie played, whispered conversations filled the space. Sebastian noticed the shifting glances his friends exchanged, some friendly, while others held an unmistakable skepticism. When the film finally ended, one of his friends, Rob, leaned in and asked, "So, what's it like to live with her? Is it weird? Aren't you worried about the differences?" The question struck like a blow. Sebastian's defenses immediately went up. "She's just a person like anyone else. We get along great," he replied, trying to keep his tone light, yet aware of the straightening tension in the air. "Yeah, but come on. She's an alien," Rob pressed, his tone teasing yet tinged with concern. "What happens when her alien customs clash with, regular human stuff? Are you ready for that?" Kaneda, who had been quietly observing the exchange, felt her color dim slightly, a bright yellow fading into muted tones. The impact of Sebastian's friend's remark stung, leaving her feeling alienated at this social gathering meant to unite. As the conversation continued with a mix of laughter and doubt, Sebastian felt an uncomfortable pit forming in his stomach. Moments later, He removed himself from the group and stepped outside onto the small balcony, seeking respite from the rising tension. The night air was cool, soothing his frazzled nerves. Moments later, Kaneda joined him, her presence a comforting balm against the harsh realities they faced. "Is everything all right?" she asked, glancing up at him with worried eyes that shimmered under the stars. Sebastian sighed deeply, feeling conflicted. I wasn't expecting the reactions from my friends. They're not being very open-minded." "I sensed it," Kaneda admitted, her colors dimming to a soft blue. "It can be overwhelming. Cultural differences bring skepticism for many, even among those we care about." "I wish they could see you the way I do," Sebastian confessed, frustration clear in his voice. "You have so much to offer, and instead, they see you as just an alien." She looked away at the stars and took a deep breath, trying to process her emotions. "I suppose this is something I was prepared for, being viewed as other. It's just something we learned from a young age." "That's not fair," Sebastian exclaimed, his voice rising in irritation. "You're more than that. You're brilliant and kind and so much more." He felt a rush of passionate defense well up within him, both for her and their connection. "Thank you," she said quietly, her colors brightening ever so slightly. "But I need to understand that not everyone will embrace who I am. Their hesitation doesn't change what we share." Nodding slowly, Sebastian's heart pounded with guilt. "I want to fight for you, for us, but how do we get through this? How can I help them see?" The silence stretched between them as Kaneda pondered. "Perhaps it's about showing them our world, merging our cultures in a way they can understand. We could host a gathering, show them our connection in a way they cannot deny." Sebastian felt a flicker of hope ignite. "That's a great idea," he replied, suddenly feeling more empowered. "If they see how we connect, they might come around." What they didn't realize, however, was that not everyone would applaud their efforts. As they discussed plans to merge their cultures, uncertainty lingered. They were confronted not only with the societal barriers stemming from their relationship, but also with a gnawing dread that would soon test their bond. Outside the walls of their sanctuary, judgment lurked, waiting to strike. The weeks that followed were filled with anticipation as Sebastian and Kaneda prepared for the upcoming gathering. They worked tirelessly to create an atmosphere that showcased the best of both of their worlds. Kaneda took charge of decorations, using her bioluminescent plants and sparkling crystals, which illuminated the room with a soft, ethereal glow. Sebastian dedicated himself to a menu that represented a fusion of their cultures, carefully selecting human favorites interspersed with Kaneda's signature Lamaran dishes. Each edition carried meaning, symbolic of their story, their struggles, and their shared connection. As the day of the gathering approached, excitement swirled in the apartment, yet beneath it lay a steady pulse of tension. Both characters felt the weight of expectations. They knew that some of Sebastian's friends held misconceptions that could shatter their carefully constructed world. On the day of the event, a mix of human and alien friends arrived at the apartment. Laughter and chatter filled the air, yet the underlying unease lingered as Sebastian introduced Kaneda with pride. "Everyone, this is Kaneda, my roommate and friend," he said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. "Hey, nice to meet you, Kaneda," one friend, Krista, said, smiling in an attempt at friendliness. However, as the evening progressed, Sebastian noticed subtle glances and whispers, a judgment simmering beneath the surface. The disparity in how they perceived Kaneda became increasingly apparent as human friends engaged in mild hesitance while taking in her alien features and warmth. Strange questions floated around the room, probing into her background and customs. "Is it true that you guys have different mating rituals?" Rob casually asked, glancing at Kaneda, his tone more curious than malicious. Sebastian felt his heart race. "That's not the point right now, Rob," he countered, irritation bubbling up. "No, it's all right," Kaneda interjected, her voice calm and surprisingly collected. Mating rituals can vary dramatically across different species. It's often a deeply personal experience. Rob raised an eyebrow. "So, what's yours like?" Feeling a flush creep up his cheeks, Sebastian felt the tension rising. "That's not really appropriate to discuss at a gathering," he muttered, his embarrassment palpable. He shot a quick glance at Kaneda, who managed to maintain her serene demeanor, but he noticed the sheen of discomfort flickering across her skin. Actually, it's quite fascinating, Kaneda reiterated, her voice filled with warmth. In Lumira, rituals involve deep emotional connection, spent in intimate spaces adorned with bioluminescent flowers. Their light symbolizes the connection between partners. But don't they get weird about it? Krista chimed in, unable to hide her disbelief. Sebastian's heart sank at the judgment cast over his friend's words. No, not at all, Kaneda replied thoughtfully. The goal is to cultivate a bond and understanding between partners, reinforcing the emotional connection while celebrating differences. Sebastian watched as Kaneda illuminated the room with her insight, but he felt a subtle sting of sadness, an understanding that his friends were struggling to accept her. As the evening continued, he vowed to break through this persistent ambiguity surrounding their relationship. As midnight approached, the gathering began to dwindle as friends trickled out. The lingering laughter faded, replaced by an uncomfortable silence that settled over Sebastian and Kaneda. Alone in their apartment, feelings of defeat washed over him. Sebastian, Kaneda said gently, her colors dimming to soft blues and grays as she reached out to him later that night. I saw how your friends reacted. It's okay if they don't understand. No, it's not okay, he argued, agitation creeping into his tone. I don't want you to feel like this. I want them to appreciate what we have, to know how wonderful you are. That's sweet of you, she replied softly, her eyes glistening with empathy. But love is complex. Not everyone will understand our bond, and expecting them to might only lead to disappointment. Taking a deep breath, Sebastian nodded, grappling with the truth of her words. However, there was an undeniable yearning to solidify their connection, to assure both her and the world around them of the love they shared. Maybe we could show them, he suggested earnestly. Let's perform the Hujaka ritual for my friends. If they can see it, maybe they'll understand. What do you mean? Kaneda asked, tilting her head. Let's demonstrate our bond in a way that's tangible. We can invite them over and conduct the ritual, give them a glimpse into what connects us, he explained, enthusiasm bubbling to the surface. After a moment of thought, Kaneda's glow brightened, pulsating with excitement. I like that idea. It will allow us to be ourselves. They set a date for the gathering, inviting both friends and family, although Sebastian couldn't ignore the anxious, knot tightening in his stomach as the day approached. When the guests arrived again, a sense of anticipation hung thick in the air. The ambience transformed into something sacred, filled with warmth and acceptance. They showcased their decorations, blending bioluminescent elements with human touches. Sebastian led the introductions, a fierce smile on his face. Thank you all for coming. Today, we wish to share something important to us, our bond through a ritual from Kaneda's culture, the Hujaka. As the audience settled into place, Sebastian took a moment to look at Kaneda, who stood beside him, glowing with radiant colors. He felt proud, but also vulnerable, as they began the ritual. Kaneda and I will be sharing our thoughts and emotions, and an exchange of items that are meaningful to us, he began. This is more than a bond. It's representation of our connection. Kaneda started by presenting her glowing crystal to the group, explaining its importance as a token of their unison. It symbolizes not just our lives, but our emotional connection. It embodies everything I have come to feel for Sebastian during our time together. Sebastian took a step forward, his heart racing, holding up his childhood plush dinosaur. This toy represents my dreams of adventure, my love of exploration, qualities I find in my relationship with Kaneda. It reminds me of how love can bridge even the widest chasms. Sebastian noticed the shift among the audience, their expressions changing from skepticism to curiosity. He felt emboldened to continue. As he spoke, he elaborated on the emotions shared during their ritual and the understanding that had blossomed between them. As they shared more about their experiences, Sebastian felt the warmth of empathy unfurling from his friends, some even leaning forward, eager to learn more. His heart swelled with appreciation, grateful to share such an intimate part of his life. They invited their friends to participate by writing down thoughts or emotions that resonated with what they had shared. This shared experience became an unexpected bonding moment, fostering understanding between them. When Kaneda and Sebastian moved towards the closing moments of the Hajaka, they stood side by side, hearts beating in unison, ready to reaffirm their emotional connection through words. Sebastian gazed into Katlin's warm eyes, feeling the sacredness of the moment fill the room. Every moment with you, Kaneda, has shown me the boundless potential of love. You've challenged me, changed me, and opened up my heart in ways I didn't think possible. Her aura shimmered with vibrant colors resonating with his words, and she replied, "And you, Sebastian, have shown me that love transcends boundaries. You've made me feel welcomed in a world so foreign. You're my adventure, my zenith, my heart." At that moment, Sebastian cupped her face in his hands, feeling a rush of emotions swirling between them. He leaned in, and as they pressed their foreheads together, an undeniable spark ignited, palpable and electric. "Can I?" he whispered, hesitation lining his voice. With a gentle nod, Kaneda's eyes sparkled, urging him forward. Their lips met, the kiss igniting a raw passion that merged their worlds seamlessly. In that embrace, the crowd faded away as the essence of the Hajaka enveloped them, an intimacy so profound they felt the current humming through their very beings. As they shared this sacred moment, the new beginning filled the air with warmth. In spite of lingering doubts and societal pressures, they stood unwavering, united through love and understanding. The audience erupted into applause, a chorus of acceptance reverberating through the apartment, making both Sebastian and Kaneda's eyes shimmer, a blend of tears and joy as relief washed over them. With their connection now explicit, they gazed at one another, feeling grounded and fiercely committed. No matter the challenges ahead, they now understood that their bond would not be confined by expectations or limitations. In the weeks following the transformative gathering, the air around Sebastian and Kaneda shifted dramatically. The applause from their friends had resonated beyond mere acceptance. It fostered understanding, opening doors to new conversations about love and friendship across boundaries. With their connection now solidified by the public acknowledgement of their bond, Sebastian and Kaneda began to navigate life together as a united front. Their days flowed seamlessly, mornings filled with shared coffee brewed to perfection, afternoons where laughter echoed through the apartment, and nights spent exploring each other's cultures, diving deeper into the intricacies of their lives. Their community began to embrace their relationship more openly. Sebastian found his friends loosening their previous reservations, and conversations grew more inclusive. Rob, who had been the most skeptical, now spent evenings asking Kaneda about her home, intrigued by the notion of bioluminescent flowers that could illuminate dark corners, a bizarre trait he found enchanting. Yet, Sebastian sensed that their journey wasn't solely confined to overcoming preconceived notions from others. Each day presented new challenges, both personal and shared, that tested their understanding of one another. One evening, they found themselves engaged in a conversation that teetered on the brink of vulnerability. As they prepared dinner together, a mix of laughter and playful banter filled their kitchen. "Do you ever miss Lumra?" Sebastian asked, stirring the pot of pasta that bubbled on the stove. Kaneda paused, a thoughtful expression dancing across her face. "I do often. But Earth has its own beauty. I cherish the experiences we've had together." As she spoke, Sebastian sensed a hint of longing within her words, a glimmer of nostalgia for her home. "I think about how difficult it must be for you, being away from family and loved ones," he responded, his tone earnest, knowing that the physical distance sometimes weighed heavily upon her. "Yes, it can be lonely, but your presence has made all the difference," she replied softly, her skin shimmering with warm pinks as she moved closer, her hand intertwining with his. In that moment, Sebastian was reminded of their shared passion for exploring worlds unknown, bridging the chasm that existed not only between their cultures, but between their hearts. As they continued to discuss their fears and dreams, the conversation took a deeper turn. "Do you believe our bond is capable of withstanding the challenges posed by our differences?" he asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Kaneda met his gaze, unwavering determination reflected in her eyes. "Our love is not bound by circumstance. It thrives on understanding, empathy, and connection," she responded firmly. "We must nurture it, just as we have nourished the space we share. Sebastian's heart swelled at her words, filling him with determination. The commitment they had forged through their previous rituals only grew stronger. He felt an unwavering belief that their love could withstand any challenge, and that commitment pressed deeper within him. As the seasons transitioned, their bond flourished in tandem with the world around them. They ventured out to alien festivals, exposing Sebastian to vibrant spectacles of Lumaran culture, where he learned the rhythm of their dances and the beauty of their music, immersing himself in the experience. When Sebastian introduced Canada to his family during a festive holiday gathering, he was struck by the warmth radiated from his relatives. They welcomed her with open arms, eager to learn about her home and the customs she brought with her. In those moments, the space not only became a hub of laughter, but a testament to their success in merging experiences, cultures, and ultimately, their identities. However, nothing could prepare them for the moment their bond would meet an ultimate test, the day they decided to explore the depths of intimacy more profoundly. While they had nurtured their emotional connection, the next step towards physical intimacy loomed ahead, weighed down by both excitement and apprehension. One late evening, sitting in the soft glow of the bioluminescent plants in their living room, they shared their thoughts on that next step. "I want to be close with you in every way," Sebastian confessed, vulnerability radiating from his voice. "But I worry about what it means for both of us. I mean, will our differences, even in intimacy, become barriers?" Canada leaned closer, considering his words. Every union involves a leap of faith. Mating is simply one of the many ways we express our connection. It's a culmination of emotions, a deep celebration of love. I believe that it can strengthen our bond. Her conviction resonated deeply within Sebastian, yet doubt still lingered. "What if there are things about your customs that I can't fully understand?" he asked earnestly. "What if I disappoint you?" Canada's hand found his, a soothing light flickering to life across her skin as she squeezed gently. "It's about exploration, learning each other's boundaries. We create our own understanding, our own meaning in this union. We'll figure it out together." In that moment of intimacy tinged with understanding, Sebastian felt the gravity of her words swirl around him, filling him with both excitement and comfort. The night unfolded like a tapestry woven from their love, a celebration of the true merging of their beings. Together, they navigated uncharted territory, embracing spontaneity and allowing their vulnerabilities to guide the way. With each tender touch and gentle caress, they discovered the beauty of intimacy beyond physicality. It became an expression of trust, love, and the connection they shared. As their hearts raced, they lost themselves in each other, reveling in the transcendent experience of mutual understanding. The act of connection, both physical and emotional, became a celebration of who they were as individuals and as a united front. Sebastian marveled at how each moment felt like a dance, a blend of their peculiar rhythms, while uncovering complexities that made them more than just human and alien. They became catalysts in each other's lives, united in their willingness to explore without fear. Their first encounter was not just about intimacy. It heightened their bond, solidifying the belief that love, in its truest form, transcends boundaries. As they lay entwined afterward, hearts still racing, their laughter echoed through the night air. It was a promise of endless adventures, challenges, and love waiting to be discovered. Days turned into weeks, and through trials and tribulations, their journey continued. With every challenge they faced, cultural misunderstandings, societal expectations, Sebastian and Canada stood shoulder to shoulder, united in love. "You know," Sebastian said one evening as they strolled through a vibrant street market filled with lights and laughter, "I never thought I would find someone who opened my eyes to the world around me. You've made me a better person. And you, Sebastian, have reminded me that love is universal. It's art, it's beautiful, and it knows no bounds," Canada replied, her colors glowing fiercely with every beat of their entwined heart. As they walked under the shimmering lights, their fingers intertwined, they both understood that no matter the challenges ahead, they were ready to embrace them together. Their love story had just begun, a journey overflowing with passion, depth, and an everlasting commitment to overcoming the barriers that once seemed insurmountable. Together, They were ready to write their next chapter.